Welcome, everyone, to the Power Lunch Thursday, where you are going to learn to balance your life and live your dreams. Presented by MarQue Munday. She's our performance speaker and coach today. Each Thursday, we will present a tool, tip, or guest speaker who will help you discover and live your dream life. So make sure you save the time and save this time on your schedule each week and join us. MarQue is a John Maxwell certified coach, speaker, and teacher, and she's the author of the book, 7 Steps to Discovering and Living Your Dream Life. She's originally from New York, but MarQue tapped her way to Las Vegas as a world famous Radio City Rockette, and she is here today to uplift you, educate you, and inspire you to balance and live your dream life. So she's not in Vegas right now. She's all the way on the other side of the world, and we're going to be talking again about travel and money. So please welcome MarQue.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you so
welcome.
much. So today we want to jump right in and get started on our travel, leisure, and finance. Just talking about how we can save money, put money away, or have money placed aside so that we can take those breaks of rest, relaxation, so that we can rejuvenate. And many times that comes in the form of travel. Last week, when we were talking about travel and leisure, we talked about staycations. We talked about the fact of just changing your environment. And of course, being in Australia, I have changed my environment. So I'm going to share my screen so we can get started. And of course, here we are on our Power Lunch Thursday, which we have been balancing our life so we can live our dreams. On these, we want to definitely give tools, tips, and strategies so that you have a practical way to implement so that you can balance your life. And with Balance Your Life, Live Your Dreams, Discover and Live Your Dream Life has 7 components, spirituality being the first, health and fitness, wellness and beauty, travel and leisure, which we're talking about today, arts, entrepreneurship, and entertainment, finance, coupling finance with your travel and leisure, and of course, mentorship, giving back. Now, finance, I like to make sure we have a relationship to our money. That's how it affects us. And as we've talked about money before, we've talked about a psychological connection, how you feel about your money. And now that we're implementing it into our travel and leisure, taking a break, being able to stop our normal day-to-day regimen and see something new, many times finances is the reason that people say they can't take a break. I can't afford it. When you're not doing the things that make money for you, how do you take a break and spend money? So we're going to look at how we can use finance, implement it with the section of travel and leisure, which really is our resting, rejuvenating, and recharging so that we can continue on our goals to our dreams and aspirations. Now we know that leisure, we said, research says on meditation, nature walks, and the habits of exceptional artists and athletes reveal how mental breaks increase productivity, replenish attention, solidify memories, and encourage creativity. So we're going to be really creative as we look at adding our finance to this break time, this rest time, this nature walk time, as we would call it. And I've broken down finance into 3 categories here: our financial budget, our financial savings, and our financial investing. Now, with budgeting, we want to look at our personal situation, and we want to calculate how the money that we use in our personal lives, how we're divvying that out. We need a plan. With our budget, it's a process of calculating how much money we will earn during a particular period of time and how much in our planning we will spend, save, need, and or borrow for that particular time. With saving, Obviously, we know that savings is putting money away. So this is a portion of money that's not spent on those things in our budget. This is money that we set aside for a future use, or as we're talking about travel, it's not spent immediately, but put to the side so that we can utilize it maybe while we're traveling, or so we can travel. And then financial investing, of course, is where we're putting money away that's working for us, and we're expecting a larger return than what we initially put in. So this is capital that we commit with the expectation of receiving more in return. So that's our financial breakdown, so that we understand how we're going to take our income and have it work for us so that we can set aside time for our rest, relaxation, rejuvenation, travel, and just plain time off. So as we look at finances, and I always like to make sure we really get real with ourselves, which is why I talk about the relationship you have between your money. Money is psychological, and there's usually an emotional attachment that happens in looking at our finances. So as we now track our expenses, and this is really an important part of learning how we can either cut back or eliminate spending so that we can save, so that we can budget, so that we can invest. It's a powerful way tracking it to identify how much we really do waste, those non-essential expenditures that we can really get rid of. I would call it impulse buying. A lot of us do that. I know myself, I do. And we want to cut back on those things because those impulse buying expenditures can be our savings. That can be the money that we put away for our travel or investing. And you would be surprised when you really take accountability and awareness to tracking how much money you spend. You would really be surprised at how much you could actually save and put to another use. So there are two types of budgeting that we're going to look at here. One is budgeting for a travel or a trip, and the second is budgeting for your lifestyle or your life. So while daily expenses can be replaced with money-saving habits, what daily expenses can be replaced? I looked at myself and I said, okay, because I'm a vegan, I have a tendency to cook my meals at home anyway. But when I go out, I realize how much more I spend on that vegan meal than I do as if I'm spending the money at the supermarket to prepare my meals at home. And just in that alone, you can save between $6 and $11 per meal. That's a lot. And it builds up really quickly. So if you're looking at 3 meals a day, let's say breakfast, lunch, and dinner, let's take it on the low end, that's $18 a day. And then you start multiplying that. You're looking, my goodness, you're saving upwards of $100 to $230 a week just by preparing your meals at home. I always looked at, wow, I go grocery shopping anyway, so why would I grocery shop and buy food out? I don't know. It makes it easier. And sometimes you're with friends, you're taking a lunch break or going out after work. That's where we need to curb some of the non-essential spending. And in this case, for you to build the finance and budget, you want to think outside the box. There are several ways that you can cut back your spending so that you can increase your savings and your investing so that you have finances to take trips or, as we're talking about, travel and leisure, taking those breaks. Ways to save, and I chunk them down into little categories here. Stop going out. Okay, so we don't want to just stop going out. Let's first identify the areas and say, okay, every once in a while to go out, it's okay, but we're not going to go out every day. Where I say shop around. Instead of just buying the first thing, say I'm looking for a specific item. Instead of just buying the first one I see, maybe I'll do some price comparisons so that I can see where I can get the best deal. Next, I say ditch your cable. If you're not watching your TV on a regular basis, it's not a part of your normal day-to-day life where you need cable, maybe just the regular TV channels that come with your basic package is fine. I know that's a rough one to ditch cable because some people have some specific shows that they like to watch. And now that we have all these different networks, you may want to you just have an OTT, which is an over the top, like a Netflix. So instead of paying cable and Netflix, pick one. Do you really need both? So these are questions that you can ask yourself, ways to cut back so that you budget. And then here it says, of course, slash your shopping. Maybe we don't go to the store 3 times a week. We make a list at the beginning or the end of the week, see the things that we do need to pick up. We pick up those things, and then we wait till the following week to say, okay, now I need to replenish this, or I'm going to have this week. We talked about cooking more at home. The next I have here is cut your landline. How many people are still using a landline? If you're not in a community that needs to have a door opener, like a gate where people are calling you, you may not need a landline in your home. Or you can just use your cell phone. They can connect it to that, maybe. So that's another way that you can cut an unnecessary expense. I like this next one, quit the gym. Many of us buy gym memberships so that we say we have one, but how often do we really use it? Now, if you're using your gym membership, by all means, continue with your gym and go. However, let's look at some of the things you're doing at the gym, and maybe you can do those at home. Instead of going to the gym and using the treadmill, maybe you can just walk. Depending on where you are, depending on your circumstance, living circumstance, maybe that's something that you can cut out. Usually gym memberships slide by and we're not usually using them as efficiently as we think we are. So that's a way to really think a financial budget change. Reduce your utilities. Now that's one for me. I know living in Vegas, you kind of can't live without the air conditioner, but you can double check on how much you're running the air conditioner, and vice versa if you're someplace that it's cold and you need the heat. Also, I found that I tend to waste water. Now, that's because I just turn it on and I let it run, but pulling those things back are ways that you can reduce your utilities. And honestly, this really is you just being aware, looking at yourself, and just like we said, that first slide, budgeting. And that's for everything. Now, thinking out the box, you can make extra money on the side. I've done Mary Kay for years, and that's a little extra money on the side. There are many other ways that that's done today. We have what they call doers, because we have a lot of IT going on, social media posting. IT, as an example, is an little money on the side extra, because we need those people to help us with our computer things. But any of those jobs that are outside your day-to-day, you can add that in, and that can be used for your budgeting, your saving, or your investing. You can review your current employment. This is something that I've been looking at as well. If what you're doing isn't giving you the wage that you feel is necessary, or that you'd like to make more, usually we'd like to make more, we can start revisiting our primary employment. Again, we're thinking out the box and just really taking a hard look and being aware of our financial circumstances. And then, as a really neat way, when you're out traveling, if travel is how we're looking to budget, you can make money as you travel. And that would mean, maybe you're doing a work at home job that you can take on the road. So now you can utilize your own job situation and get that travel, leisure, take a break, rejuvenate at the same time. So we've got several ways that we can implement strategies for budgeting so that you can take a break, making sure we're balancing our work-life experience so that we can reach the goals, dreams, and aspirations that we would like to in our life here. So just looking at some tips, tools, and strategies ways that we can implement our finances into the opportunity of traveling, leisure, taking a break, having that time to rest, relax, and rejuvenate so that we can do the things that we like to in our dream life. That's our tip for today. Chime in with me, will you, Ryan?
Yeah, sure. So I learned many years ago how to budget. Okay. So when I was younger, my father created a spreadsheet and he said, here, start using this to track your finances. But it
Wow.
wasn't much of a budgeting situation. It was more about tracking, which does help because, like you said, when you see where your money is going, you realize you can see patterns. Well, that's not necessary. That's not necessary. And you can
Right.
cut those out. I took his spreadsheet and then I modified it myself and sort of created a budget, but I didn't really know exactly how I wanted it to work. And then I came across a software. It's called You Need a Budget. Very simple.
Okay.
YouNeedABudget.com. And this software was exactly what I was trying to create in my own simple spreadsheet, but it was in its own format. And I have been using that software for 12 years now, I think. And it has really helped me understand where my money is going and keep track of everything. And it does it so easily. But the good thing about this software is the software is just a tool for their philosophy of how to use money. So they're all about teaching you how to budget and how to look forward and how to manage your expenses and save for everything that you're talking about. So I really enjoy the simplicity and the honesty and the compassion that this company does. So it's called You Need a Budget, youneedabudget.com. They also call themselves YNAB, YNAB. But that's something that I've been doing for a long time, and it has really helped me quite a bit. Also, because of that, I can see where I am unnecessarily spending so that I have money for other things. When you look at something like your money, your expenses, you're definitely going to notice things. But if you ignore, if you don't pay attention, if you're just giving money out, whatever it is,
Mhm.
your pockets are basically leaking because
Exactly.
you don't know what's going on.
Yes. And
Track
I
each dollar. Mhm.
I have to share this because I want you guys to see it all. There it is. YNAB.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Definitely. This is a great tool
Mhm.
to grab and learn how to, yeah, budget and see, look at that. Get your finances in order.
Mhm.
Yes. Okay. So just as a disclaimer, we are not representatives for YNAB. Ryan, thank you for sharing that.
You're
12
welcome.
years of using a software,
Yeah.
and so it works. So we have somebody
Mhm.
telling you it works. What's really funny is growing up, I didn't have any budgeting or have somebody to tell me, how to watch your finances. But my mom did show me how to balance my checkbook. So I
Mhm.
was a kid that had a passbook savings plan from school, and every week we'd have our quarter or 50 cents or whatever. I know I'm dating myself, but every week that we'd take that little trip up to the bank and you'd put your little change in. And then, of course, after school, when I say after school, high school, you're sitting down, getting ready to go off to college. Mom sat down with me and we looked at how basically it's a tracking, because when you're looking at your ledger for your checking account, you're looking at how you write a check and you're reducing it from the balance that you have. And now you could actually see what you're spending your money on. That is how I learned to say, okay, one, it was, this is how much money you have in the bank. Do you really want to spend for that? Is it necessary? And then the other was, okay, now here is a way to keep that running track. And it did. It made me question myself on, was this something necessary? Do I really need this? Today in our life, budgeting is very different because we all have these ATM cards. and children growing up now see you with this card, and that doesn't teach them that you need to have money on that card, or it doesn't teach them where the money comes from on that card that you keep on tapping or using in the store. So I think this budgeting thing, I think you're onto something there, right? I think you got it.
Yeah.
Because really finances now in our life, we have that reoccurring charge, as we call them, and everything is set up on an automatic. But if you don't know what automatic is, you're kind of out of the water, because how did you get that money for that automatic purchase? How is that happening? Even with work, you now have your money that's going directly into your bank account. You can have it go that way. I mean, I don't think there's many people at all that actually cash checks anymore. Everything is done electronically so that money doesn't actually pass your hand. You're not going to my bank branch, not even open anymore. So truly everything is being done digitally. And for me, I know learning how to budget with a checkbook, and even you using software, I had a tangible thing in front of me. I think it is more challenging, more difficult when you're never seeing this stuff. It's like air, So interesting, very interesting. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sharing that. That's a good tool, tip, and strategy, you guys, for your budgeting, your finances, whether that's saving for a trip. We talked about travel and leisure, and the fact that in order to balance your life, you've got to have that time to rest, relax, and rejuvenate so that you can keep going. And a big part of that is having the finances available to do it. So,
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's our Power Lunch Thursday. We're finishing out July, so we want to thank you again. And of course, your playback will be available. My name is MarQue, and that is Ryan. Oh, that voice. Please remember that if you need to have someone represent your business, your branding, your products, and your services, please reach out to Ryan. Oh, that voice. He's such a great commentator for you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone, for watching.
We'll see you next time.